Interesting game on Lichess today in fried liver. And in other news, if you watch the NFL today, it was a real punt that they didn't go for the field goal, up 7-0. How does Denver go for it there in a defense heavy game with the snow coming in the second half, which you should know if you're the head coach, that you need to be up 2 scores? I mean, this is ridiculous. I don't know what to say. And the Stidham really butchered it. I mean, he's throwing passes backwards, fumbling around. I mean, interceptions. I mean, this guy, 7 years in the NFL, and he's backup quarterback for a reason. He was dreadful. Um, Seattle just gonna smoke the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So get your bets in. Um, but this isn't gambling advice. I don't know why they say it's not. But check this fried liver out, meanwhile. Because this dude played Ancient Line, which very few people know. But my old best friend used to play it on me. Um, B5. Have you ever seen this one? It's pretty clever. The point is, if you take it, it's queen takes d5, threatening g2 and the bishop. And yeah, I guess you have a couple of moves there. You can go back to e2. If they take, you have bishop. You have bishop f3, which is pretty nasty, right? Bishop e2. Maybe they play. Oh, bishop e2. I don't even know what they do in bishop e2. I'm not really aware, because the other one is to just take on c6. But I wonder what's happening on bishop e2. Probably just knight d4, which is a very nice move. You control the bishop f3 move, and you also make square for bb7. So the best move, according to theory, is bishop f1, and this is very clever. So that if he plays queen d5, you have knight c3 with tempo, and g2 isn't hanging. And then when he moves the queen away, then you take back on b5. So that's very clever, and luckily I knew this move. And knight d4, and this is the sack line. I wasn't aware of all the details, but I knew c3 and knight takes d5, and he's threatening the horse on g5. So with these two knights in the middle, you have to get rid of one of them. And now you do get to take this with check. And the point for black is that they're going to put the bishop on b7 and start harassing you. And you don't have much development. But this should be better for white anyway, because the king is on d8. No matter how you slice it, unless you're getting checkmated, the king is on d8. So bb7, and now you have to find a strong move, right? Because he's threatening to go knight f4. So the best move has to be queen f3, so that the knight can't move. The bishop's hanging, and then he played rook b8, right? Pretty sexy, threatening this knight f4 business again. So here, and also maybe some knight e3 is also a weird threat. Knight e3, right? I'm not sure. Well, they're, both of those threats, but I think I can take on e5 here. I think I can take on e5 because, well, he has knight e3. If he goes knight f4, I do have bishop c6. And then it doesn't look like there's anything there. Perhaps bishop c6, perhaps even queen h3. perhaps even queen h3, because that does threaten mate on d7. He probably has to play queen takes g2 in that position and trade the queens, which should be good for me off the top of my head. That looks pretty good. But I played the human move, right? I mean, what's the most natural move? It's actually not the strongest, because I did overlook something important. Because at d3, I was thinking, of course, he wants to play knight f4, which looks pretty scary, because if I take on f4, when he takes back, pawn takes bishop, my bishop's hanging on b5. So he's like threatening my queen and my bishop's hanging. So that leaves only bishop c6. But bishop c6 is very strong. Bishop c6 is very strong. He trades, and then if he takes on b2, he's walking into the fire, because knight c3 is going to be hell on earth. Because now rook b1 is coming, and what to do? Like if he has to play rook, imagine that rook is on coming to the b8 square, and rook e8 is checkmate, because the queen is on c6, right? That's pretty unpleasant. So, but d3 is small. Well, it's kind of a big inaccuracy, actually, because if I play, when I play d3, the knight f4 is not the right move because of this line. And also probably shouldn't take on b2. That's probably a blunder. That is a blunder for sure, because it opens the line just for one measly pawn. You sending yourself into contortions. You're going to get checkmated. So on d3, queen g6 is unpleasant. All of a sudden, queen g6 is unpleasant, because I don't have bishop c6 anymore. It covers the c6 square. So now these knight jumps are going to be very annoying. And I think I would have to find queen g3 in that position. Then he probably gets to take on d4. But okay, let's get into, because that's all, like, it's good to use your imagination and try to visualize these things. But from a human perspective, like you think d3, right? And you pretty much know that your opponent's going to play knight f4, because this one's hanging. And it's sort of a reflex action, but it's incorrect, because now this position is just not that good. Your king is on d8, and you don't have any compensation, right? And then he played the ultra lemon, which is to take this guy, which is what he did. And now you see what's happening here. He did find a good move, interesting move, to go rook b6. But now the bishop is pinned, and the only counterplay he has f3 is controlled, and even if he gets that in, I do have some g3s. I mean, he might try to wiggle in the light squares, but it's kind of difficult, because imagine that anytime he goes queen h3, the f3 pawn is hanging, so that sort of puts the kibosh on everything. And so this is good. We gain an important tempo and open the C file. And you can sort of imagine what's coming. Queen g6 and rook c1. Played f3. And we stopped the mate. And, well, he figured he went for the most human move, but this one relinquishes the c6 square again, so that I have rook takes c7, and if he goes king d7, it's going to be mate in 2, queen c8 and rook e7, which is how the game went. But the final wrinkle, I guess, is bishop c5, because, you know, if I take it, he can take it. But, and then my queen's, but I have queen a7, and then rook b7 and queen a5, followed by knight takes c5. It's roasted. So that was kind of a cool way to finish the game. But so the big blunders were very subtle. Knight f4 was sort of a lemon, right? And d3 was kind of lemon fresh. That because on d3, like, this move all of a sudden is a little bit difficult, because when this knight moves, I have no bishop c6, so I sort of have to go here. Just to save myself, and that probably this one, which starts to, you know, open some bishop, and my knight doesn't have the most natural square. It's probably not lost or anything, but yeah, it's better for black. Queen g6, or, you know, less than a third of a pawn or so, but still, in this position, not here, but this one. And this one is better. And you'd be sitting here staring at this with black, trying to figure out. It's good to have the pawn on e5. There are no bishop d6s, and also you're not hanging a pawn on d4. And you know, queen f7 may be a threat with some queen d7 and queen e8 mates. So, you know, bare minimum, if you go knight f4, there's always this bishop c6 again. So knight e3 has to come, I think, so that at least you can start taking something on f1, or threaten to take on f1. But there's queen h3. So I think that has to be the best, and this is the most interesting, is to take this. Of course, I must take, and then knight g2. But this is clearly better for white, because, well, let's take a body count real quick. That's 6 to 5, and the pieces are sort of uncoordinated, and I imagine d4 is probably a good move. If I had to guess, yeah, d4. You might think about this off the top of your head, but you so everybody starts developing. But if you started to get cute, oh, that's probably, yeah. Oh wow, look at that! I didn't even think about that. And then you gobble this, and yeah, I suppose you develop, and this is just material advantage. Guy knew what he was doing. The guy knew what he was doing. Anyway, this is an interesting line. Other things to think about were bishop f1 is main line, apparently, right? And the other one, if you wanted to think about this one, to take on c6, you know, queen f3 is also, I'd probably just castle. But I think this one, you know, it's two bishop compensation. I don't think you need to, even though it's material, You wouldn't want to have this against like Judith Polgar or somebody, or like Kasparov with this initiative. Who needs it? You know. The other one is this one. Right, because h6. I mean, if I wanted to look at more lines, I was thinking knight d4 was the one. I was thinking knight d4 would be the one. Second best. But it's okay. It's wants bishop b7 first. I wonder why. Let's see this. Knight f3. Bishop d6. Knight c3. And queen c5 or queen e6. And this is the power of like material advantage, huh? I mean, black pieces are all kind of aggressive, but this is a pawn, and computers love pawns. And the structure is kind of fluid and solid, I guess. But still, in the final analysis, bishop f1 is top choice. And if you eat this one, I think it's just hell on earth, because you know, this comes now with force. Bishop d6 and just simple d3. And yeah, you control the e4 square. It's easy to castle. You get bishop e3. But even here, black always has some garbage with the bishop on b7. So, and rook b8 is also available. Okay, good line, interesting stuff. And I'll see you next time.